you like to see us be here, sir?
Ready? I'd like to call the meeting to order. Our first order of business is to let you know that we had a workshop this afternoon on facilities projects, things that we're having to repair around the district and new playgrounds and what have you. Then we went into closed session and we had a conference with our labor negotiator, myself being one and the other one is Dr. Pulver. And then we had also discussed a public employee discipline release and also matters pertaining to pupils, but no action was taken. Now that we're into open session, the first thing we need to do is ask, is there Anthony Marquez, Dana Kim out here this evening? They're supposed to lead us in the flag salute. So if you could come up to the microphone there.
Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
Thank you. Now it's my understanding that the third graders have a patriotic song for us this evening from LAE.
Excuse me, are the microphones not working because we're not getting anything out?
Mine's on.
Ours, they're on.
Testing,
But thank you for telling us because we don't know.
Can you hear me now?
No. Oh, really?
Oh,
Testing,
hello.
testing, testing.
Because they're on. Oh, yay, they're on now.
Thank you. Thank you for letting us know.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. That was just absolutely marvelous. Next on our agenda is our reports and recognitions, and our first report is by our student board member, Megan Wyman.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board, Superintendent Kropp, cabinet members, friends, family, and community. I'm Megan Wyman, and I'm going to be presenting tonight's student board report. So as October comes to a close, I thought today would be a great time to highlight all of the amazing things that LoSal did in October. Starting with our annual homecoming, this year's theme was Homecoming of Heroes. We had dress out days throughout the whole entire week. Superheroes are super in right now, so it was super easy to get so much school participation, whether it was Marvel versus DC Comics or any other dress out day that we did. We had awesome participation in our lunchtime activity. You can see in the corner right here, we actually really loved Giant Twister and musical chairs. So games that we played when we were a little younger, we still love to play now. The winners of each games got free tickets to our homecoming dance, so great incentive, which made them participate even more. We also posted the school yet again. This year we posted more of the school than we ever have before. If you haven't gotten a chance to go to the high school when it's posted, I definitely recommend going next year because it will be even greater. As you can see right here in the bottom photo, we do all over right in front of our gym. We have our rainbow, and then right next to it we have American flag, and the rest of the school is kind of covered with small posters promoting the game, the dance, dress out days, anything LoSal related. So that's always so much fun. ASB has so much help from different groups at the high school, so it's not just us slaving away the night before. So we got out really early this year, and we finished pretty early in the night, and it was the most we've ever done, so we're really proud of it. Right before our game at school, we had our assembly. It was a great time to bring the whole school together to get us so hyped for our game, and then the dance that came a few weeks later. So, speaking of the game, we played Edison. Like I said in an earlier board report, we had an amazing halftime show. 600 plus people participated in it, from ASB to choir to drumline to color guard and choir. Almost every activity was in that dance, and we worked our butts off, and we had a great time doing it. Our homecoming king and queen were announced. I actually know both of them personally, and they're outstanding people, and I'm so proud of them and happy for them to win homecoming king and queen. And we had such a great attendance at the game. Our whole community showed up. So if you were there, thank you so much for coming. Although our boys didn't get the outcome that we wanted, they have come back and dominated in their past two games, and are looking forward to a game this Thursday. So, I'm sorry. A student at LoSal has been doing amazing videos for the football team especially. I've known her since I was in elementary school, and she's one of my close friends. Emma Cotter created a video for this homecoming game, so I just want to show it to you to kind of sum up our whole experience at the game. So that's it for this year's homecoming, but we just want to thank Emma again for such an amazing video. Okay, well, just want to talk about next our district-wide Red Ribbon Week.
That's so
Kind of a
hard to
tongue
say.
twister.
It is.
So as you guys know, obvious at LAE, you participated in Red Ribbon Week. It was all over the district, which is pretty awesome. The whole week we were advertising drug awareness and obviously promising to stay off drugs. It's something that's an annual week at Los Al, and it's great to see all the schools participating and us pledging to be drug-free. All schools had dress-out days, which is really cool to see. I remember driving to school past LAE and McAuliffe and seeing all the kids walking to school in their superhero shirts or whatever the theme was that day, so that was awesome to see. I know at Los Al we had lunchtime activities, which were also a big hit, and for anti-drug awareness, schools like Weaver pledged to keep their hands off drugs, and schools like LAE signed pledges in their rooms to be drug-free. So just yesterday at Los Al, we had an awesome Los Al for Life Halloween edition. So I hope you all enjoyed an amazing Halloween. And at Los Al, we had a pre-party at lunch. Kiss FM was actually there DJing for us. Kids get so excited when they come, and we had awesome dance party, and everyone was really excited for the event and for Halloween that night. So students who were chosen by their fourth period teachers for Los Al for Life were able to spin the wheel and win prizes. We had lunch out for all Los Al for Life winners and the staff. You can see even staff dressed up in their Halloween costumes, which is awesome to see. And then we had different activities like estimating how many candy were in a candy jar. We got to paint mini pumpkins, and we had a costume contest. So overall, it was a great day at Los Al and a really fun time to end off October and end off our amazing month at our school. I think that's all I have for tonight, but thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, next is my report, and it's really poignant that Megan brought up about Red Ribbon.
Yeah,
Easy
you
for
can
me to
say
say. Red Ribbon Week, because this last Saturday at Los Alamitos High School, they had a prescription drug give back. In other words, the police were out in front in the parking lot, and people drove up and they turned in their unused drugs. And as we know, it is not a good idea to having them sit around your house, because one of the most misused types of drugs are things that people get from other people's medicine cabinets. In fact, we had a discussion, we have a substance abuse task force in the district which meets regularly, and we had a discussion last spring about having a drug give back, and so they did just that. Unfortunately, I drove all the way up to the high school to give mine, and I drove back in front of Leisure World. I live in Seal Beach. There was another give back there, so I could have stopped there, but nonetheless, they had it there, and they collected 275 pounds or 15 full boxes of medications that have followed. We had a thing which had screenagers, I believe it was, and talking about opioid use in the teenage population. And so we continue to do these kinds of things and cooperate with our law enforcement community. And as I drove up, I noticed our former SRO officer, Trevor Nilsson, was there, and even the chief of police, both of them were there. So it's a very important thing, and I'm sure there will be more, and watch for them. If you do have any laying around your house, try to find a place where you can get rid of them and never flush them down the toilet or anything like that, because that only tends to pollute things and cause other problems in our environment. So I just wanted to highlight that and let you know we are doing those kinds of things. So that concludes my report, and we're up next to our superintendent's report. Dr. Kropp.
Thank you, President Russell, esteemed members of the board, and all of our guests here this evening. So I want to talk about a few things. I know that we just saw a little video about our halftime show, but it was really amazing. So all you future Griffins, I love that shirt. Yeah. So you are all future Griffins. Our halftime show had over 600 students. So on the halftime show, we had our band students, our choir students, ASB, cheer, song. So it really is a full show. I also want to highlight for the choir show, for a few people that weren't able to make it, it truly was extraordinary. They had some of the numbers were done with parts of it in sign language or in other multiple languages. They did a great rendition of Hamilton, and it really is better than many shows I see that are professional. In fact, all of them, quite frankly. And then we also have our last home football game this Thursday, and we have a lot of CIF this week. I might forget a few, but I know Dr. Martinez is coming up if I do, but girls volleyball plays tonight, and if they win, they'll play again on Thursday. Cross country is on Friday, and girls tennis, we're Sunset League champs, and they play their first CIF game on Wednesday, I believe. So go LoSal. And then lastly, I want to take a second just to talk about Friday. Sometimes for our families, it might even be like no kids in school. So it was a student-free day, but I can't thank you enough for supporting that day, for the professional development that we're able to give all of our staff. So we only have 2 days a year that are truly student-free during the year, that give all of our educators an opportunity to get trained and to be better. So if you believe in unlimited possibilities and you believe in that we're continually wanting to get better, then we do need time to learn new strategies, better ways to work with children, and better ways for our kids to be successful. So it was a fabulous day, and we've received some input, quite a bit of input, and people seemed really pleased with the day. So thank you, families, for supporting that day. And just saw Janelle, one of our TOSAs there. Thank you for helping lead the day, and the board for supporting. It's really important. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kropp. We're going to skip item G for now, item D, and move on to recognition of our National Merit finalists and commended students. Mrs. Reed.
Thank you, President Russell. The National Merit Scholarship Program is an academic scholarship competition that began in 1955. About 1.5 million students enter the National Merit Scholarship Competition annually, and students recognized by the program represent the state's top 5% of graduates. So Los Alamitos Unified School District is very fortunate to have 4 National Merit semifinalists and 14 commended students this school year. So we'd like to welcome Dr. Brandon Martinez, Los Alamitos High School principal, to the podium to recognize our students who are being honored this school year.
Before we call up the names, just want to let our attendees know what it takes to even become a commended student. So in the fall of their junior year, these students take the PSAT, and based on that score alone, they are qualified as commended students. Out of that, and comparing to all the students across the United States that take the PSAT, we have a select few that then move up into what are called semifinalists. And at this point, these students will then participate in an application process in conjunction with their counselors that will also include items related to the academic coursework they've taken. So later this year, we'll find out if any of our semifinalists make it into the finalist category. So students, as I call your name, if you would come on up, receive your certificate, and then we'll have you line up in the front. We're going to start with our commended students. Our first one is Gloria Choi. Caroline Depew. Lachlan Duncan. Alexa Gomberg. David Gordon. Kendall Grossgold. Owen Kaminsky. David London. Grant McDonald. Min T. Win. Tien Ni Win. Vivian Win. Salim Park. Seth Siegel. Mikel Tiffany. And she is our first of our semifinalists, so the next three names I read are also semifinalists. Anthony Hahn. David Liu. And Jian Lim. So let's give it up for these students who have made it happen. Last chance for photos. Thank you, students. Excellent work.
Yeah, a marvelous accomplishment. Congratulations to all of you. And we next have our Los Alamitos Elementary School report and student board report. Dr. Aquino.
Thank you, Madam President, esteemed members of the school board, Dr. Krob, and cabinet members. Thank you for inviting me to represent LAE today. At LAE, we are extremely proud of our two recent awards, our Gold Ribbon Award and our Title I Academic Achievement Award. Sorry, my clicker's not working. It is on. Hold on. There we go. We are also proud of our bucket filling scholars, and we make a promise to each other and everyone that we're going to inspire each other to be joyful, relentless, and passionate about learning. When we analyze our CASP scores from the last 2 years, we notice that our students have grown in math achievement. We have met or exceeded standards. We've increased by 15%. And in English language arts, we have increased by 6%. In conjunction with our district assessments and classroom assessments, this data is used to provide interventions as well as differentiation. Our Learning Lab provides reading clinics for grades K through 3 and additional intensive reading and writing support for our English learner students. We partner with the TOSAs who help us keep our practices in our Learning Lab aligned with our classroom. And we also provide after-school math clinics for grades 3 through 5, teacher coaching, and our media center remains open before school 5 days a week. We are also engaged in our school-wide implementation of depth and complexity prompts, as well as our district's signature practices. And we are also applying critical creative engineering and design thinking through our STEAM approach. We are engaged in our school-wide impact studies, which really is a cross-disciplinary application of literacy, numeracy through science. We've also added an impact study on the electoral process as well. Our teachers are engaged in grade level collaboration days, and we leverage our learning through technology. Our TOSAs work with us very closely. They provide coaching in CGI and math and in reading foundations. We have on-site leaders, Denise Fielden and Laura Trotter, who attended the summer workshop training, and they are on-site leaders for us. And we also have a teacher lead and coach in the Learning Lab, Jennifer Everman, who is a 49% teacher. We support the Healthy Minds and Healthy Bodies philosophy. And in addition to our district counselor, we provide additional counseling through JFCS. And our kids volunteers, our Red Shirt volunteers, help set the tone for our school, and they also keep us safe and secure. We are very fortunate to have many, many community partners, and as you can see, Chief Nunez is in that photograph. He's participating in Deer Day. And our Fit-a-thon supports our Healthy Minds, Healthy Bodies philosophy. We have added additional fencing, and we are continuing to have discussions about even more fencing to keep our schools safe and secure. We communicate with our community in many different ways, videos, social media, newsletters, and so we do have our weekly newsletter. Our teachers also communicate on a regular basis. We also have our traditional Tuesday take-home folders. Our school website is maintained and up to date. We use School Messenger. Our teachers update Aries Gradebook weekly. And in addition to our Twitter account and our Friends of LAE Facebook, we have added an Instagram account. So our LCFF supplemental funds and our Title I funding continues to support Learning Lab interventions. Our PTA supports community-wide events, and our Friends of LAE supports STEAM, our Class Act program, and our Media Center. This year, we're creating a new handball wall and adding more murals. And we also have purchased buddy benches and added additional plants, and the community continues to share and use our facilities. Our students have a myriad of opportunities, and we're excited, especially with our high school partnership. The High School Robotics Club comes and helps our students learn more about robotics, and they really enjoy that opportunity. There are other fun activities like Camp LAE, our Halloween parade, the Fit-a-thon, Carnival, and Dr. Seuss or Deer Day. Our theme for this year is Know Thy Impact. What is the impact of my choices in the world that I live? And this theme was designed to really take a cross-disciplinary approach and apply everything that we're learning in literacy and numeracy through science. Every grade level, TK through 5, is responsible for studying some aspect of plastics pollution and providing a solution. And so the picture right there, you see some 5th grade students. We've partnered with an organization called Algalita, and we collected sand from Seal Beach. And those are our 5th graders sifting through the sand to see what particles, especially plastics particles, they find in there. And so you see in that chart that they were categorized by weight. And so our students will be using that data to create charts, of course, access through technology, and then translating that information into coming up with solutions. So this is one way that we're applying our theme and science ideas. So at this point, it is my pleasure to bring up 2 5th grade students, Dana Kim and Anthony Marquez, who have prepared a report for us.
Hi, I'm Anthony Marquez. And I am Dana Kim.
This year, our school focus is to understand the impact of our choices and to make decisions that make a positive impact. As 5th graders, we participate in STEAM, science, technology, engineering, art, and math every day. Learning coding and building objects such as alarms using circuits helps us understand technology and how to create and build things that might be useful to us.
In STEAM class, we explore topics thoroughly before we move on to something completely different. We have fun as you learn about many things most schools don't even teach. This year, we are exploring how we make an impact on our environment by studying the impact of plastics pollution.
We recently collected sand from Seal Beach and recorded data on how much plastics we found. We organized what we found into categories such as pellets, intact plastics, filament, fragments, film, styrofoam, and cigarette butts. Unfortunately, plastics do not biodegrade, and we are amazed at how much we found in one scoop of sand. Dana and I realized that we need to use less plastic to reduce pollution.
As a whole school, we also were able to reduce tremendous amounts of plastic. This year, plastic water bottles were replaced with reusable ones during a yearly fit-a-thon. Almost after kids were told they would get a raffle ticket if they bring in reusable bottles, almost the whole school brought them in. We reduced so much trash that we had 4 less trash bags in our landfills. This has got us all thinking.
The Ambassador Program is another great way to make an impact. We learn about responsibilities and how to make a difference in our LAE community. We learn to interact with other people and overcome our fears. We have weekly jobs to be responsible for. The Ambassador Program is one of my favorite things about LAE.
LAE has many things most schools didn't even think of. Makerspace is the path to imaginations for all grades. Our school helps us understand that one person can make an impact. Overall, LAE helps us be the best we can be. BA Scholar, BA Bucket Filler, LAE is the place to be.
Thank you, Dana and Anthony. So it's very coincidental that their STEAM teacher actually is here tonight, Mrs. Fielden. And Mrs. Fielden is being honored because she has been selected by the Orange County Department of Ed and OC STEM Initiative as a STEM practitioner, a lead STEM practitioner for the 2016-17 school year. Mrs. Fielden had to submit a video and a written application, and she competed with a field of 90 applicants, and she was one of 20 selected. So it is my pleasure to invite Mrs. Fielden and her husband, Bruce, to come on up here.
I just want to say we are so fortunate and blessed to just have such a high quality staff and just publicly thank her. And she's been such a strong leader for us. And way to go, Mrs. Fielden. That's awesome.
It feels funny to be recognized for something that I have, I know you have to put it lower than the kids, that I have a blast doing. It is so neat to be able to work with the kids like this and hear them when they're doing things with their hands and they're taking what they learn in class and now applying it, and hear them say, oh, I get it now. Any teacher out there, you know that those are words we love to hear. So I just thank the District 2 for the opportunity that I have to explore these new things that I'm doing and giving me that freedom and opportunity, and linking it with math and literacy and science. So thank you, board, everybody. Appreciate it.
I would like to conclude LAE's school board report with a video that Anthony and Dana produced for us.
Hello, we are reporting from OC School News.
I am reporter Anthony Marquez.
I am reporter Dana Kim.
Today we are reporting from Los Alamitos Elementary.
We are investigating their STEAM class. Let's take a look.
think it relates to the school theme impact because they taught us to pick up plastic and keep our earth clean. And I think since we're going to be going around teaching the younger kids this, it could make an impact not only on our school but on the world too.
What do you most like about STEAM?
Well, I really like doing snap circuit kits, and also I love when we get to program Ozobots and program other different things. I think that this may help us for our future career.
Do you think STEAM class will help your future?
Yes, I do think that STEAM class will help my future because if I become an engineer, I'll already know how to code robots and how to code on the computer. So that's why I think that STEAM class will help me in the future.
Thanks for joining us this evening. Till next time on OC School News.
At this point, are there any questions for us?
Great job. You have Heroes of the Heart next, I think.
So I would like our red shirt volunteers to come on up, please, and stand next to me. You can see why we call them our red shirt volunteers. So we count on our red shirt volunteers, also affectionately known as the red shirt guys. We count on them every day. You'll see them without fail in the morning, greeting families, directing traffic, helping students exit cars, and helping students cross busy areas. You will see them every afternoon, bidding students goodbye as they wish them well for the rest of the day while helping them connect with their rides home. You will even see them during the day checking the perimeter of the school or joining recess games. Our red shirt guys have developed ingenious systems and signage to make our parking lots safer and more secure. Yep, everybody's nodding their heads because they know. Their presence lets us know that we have a community that is ready to jump in and help keep us safe. Their positive energy lifts our spirits and fuels us for the rest of the day. As one of our teachers put it, they do this out of the goodness of their hearts. Another teacher remarked, "It is a thankless job, but they show up every day with a smile for everyone, rain or shine, and if it were snowing, they would be here. They would show up." They help our teachers and kids and set the tone for our school. This program, originally called the Kids Program, was the brainchild of one of our parents, Scott Baker, who just came from work. That's why he doesn't have his red shirt on. And together, Scott and our captain, Lee Wofford, did I say that right? And we call him Grandpa Lee, lead a dedicated group of volunteers. And so tonight we have Charles Eichelberger, Grandpa Charles, and Don Pichura, Grandpa Don. You are all examples of the Tiger spirit. Thank you for being our heroes.
You know, it's a really bad idea to put me in front of a podium ever. I'm surprised you did that. So it's really not me. I just, came up with an idea when I felt that I was not involved enough with school. So I decided to come up with the idea, and we, put together a program. It was great. But really, it's the guys that did it. And I asked them to come one day, and then all of a sudden they showed up every single day, twice a day. So really, they made the program what it is, and we appreciate it very, very much, so thank you.
I think that concludes the presentation for LAE.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Next, Dr. Kropp would like to introduce our next portion of our agenda.
Oh, actually, thank you, President Russell. But Dr. Aquino, I wanted to say something about LAE, and so it's really important. And if you mentioned it, I missed it. But not all the public knows that California Distinguished School and which is our next presentation, and that National Blue Ribbon School are on cycles. And so I do want all of your families to know that LAE is also a California Distinguished School and a National Blue Ribbon School. So it isn't that they aren't one, that this wasn't their cycle year. So I still want to recognize that so that people do know. So congratulations on those, along with being a Gold Ribbon School.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Would you please introduce our next presenter?
So we are really honored this evening to have Assemblyman Travis Allen is here to give a special presentation to our school that is being recognized this year, and we are so proud of them. And Hopkinton is also an amazing, amazing school. Congratulations. And their principal, I saw Mrs. Evelyn Garcia. Yes, so Mrs. Garcia, if you would join President Russell and Assemblyman Allen at the podium, that would be great.
Thank you all so much for having me tonight. I'm your State Assemblyman, Travis Allen. I represent 13 cities here in Orange County for the California State Legislature. So I represent cities all the way from Huntington Beach up to Sunset and Seal Beach, Rossmore and Los Alamitos, and all the way over to Westminster, Garden Grove, Fountain Valley, Midway City, Stanton, Cypress, Santa Ana, and Anaheim. Took me a little while to get those down too. So it's about 500,000 people, but I am here today to bestow a small recognition of a very large honor. Hopkinton Elementary was rated as one of the very best schools in the entire nation. The National Blue Ribbon Program was designed to recognize schools that have excellent overall academic achievement or have closed a very large academic achievement gap. I'm very happy to report that in the case of Francis Hopkinton, it is the former. This is excellent academic achievement, and so it's actually named an exemplary high-performing school. And there are 329 schools nationwide that get this honor. Of that, only 279 are public schools. There are only 29 schools that got this honor in California this year, and only 3 of those were located in Orange County. And one of them was our very own Francis Hopkinton Elementary. So with that, I have a plaque on behalf of the California Legislature. This is what we call a California resolution. And I am joined by our principal, Evelyn Garcia. Can everybody give Hopkinton Elementary and Evelyn a huge, huge round of applause?
Madam President, esteemed members of the board, Superintendent Kropp, Cabinet, and community members, it is such an honor to serve in this wonderful school district every day. I could not think of a place that I would rather be. It is a huge privilege, and I am blessed to be able to serve a visionary board that allows for me to do this wonderful work. And we have wonderful parents, and we have 6 amazing elementary schools. LAE, today's presentation is a true testament of what a wonderful place you're in, and I am such a fan of Los Alamitos Unified School District, and I couldn't be more honored to be a part of it. So thank you all.
Thanks again, Assemblyman Allen, for being here to do this. And we do have a break now, and there are cookies, I think. And we want some the people to take some pictures up here, so stay around for some pictures as well. This meeting back out of recess, and our first up on our agenda will be our community staff participation. And I have first Dr. Milt Helton from RHA.
Thank you, President Russell, members of the board, Dr. Kropp, and the cabinet. I wanted to call for the television viewing audience that you all received tonight our latest copy of our signature newsletter, and we're quite ironic with all of the festivities before that our cover story is Hopkinton with its Blue Ribbons Award. I do want to thank Dr. Kropp, Dr. Barkey, and Ms. Reed for taking some time out to attend our RHA board meeting and speak to the board. We advertised it as a town hall meeting. Not a lot of people showed up. The board was there in numbers, but not a lot of other people in the community showed up, which, as you're getting to know Rossmore, is actually a good thing, because that means you're doing a good job and people were not there to complain. So I thought that part was good. I think some of the efforts that you've been making to improve some of the things that people have been complaining about are taking an impact, and so I would commend you on doing a good job in that arena. I'd also like to thank President Russell for taking some time out of her schedule to attend our Personnel Commission meeting. Hope that wasn't too painful, and that you might encourage some of the other board members to come and join with us and see what it is that we do. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Houghton. Next we have, I'm not sure if I'm going to pronounce your name, Dilette Bacher? Yeah, sorry.
I was a little leery about coming out here to speak on Mr. Torres's behalf, but now that everybody's gone, I feel a little bit more comfortable. But I sent an email, but I'll probably repeat. I sent it to him. But I've had 5 kids go through the Los Alamitos School District. My last one, who's a senior this year, and my other 2 older boys did football, basketball, volleyball. Mr. Torres is the best coach out of all of them. Not that they were bad, but he taught my boys to be leaders. Just taught them so much they still talk about him. My son Austin, whenever he's in town from school, he goes there. And he just teaches them so much more than just wrestling. And I hate for this, whatever incident occurred, my son Ethan we happened to be going to Utah when this happened, so he wasn't there to see, and he's heard all different stories, all different versions. I mean, all the same boys that were there saw different stuff, but I just feel it'd be really sad to lose such a great teacher and a great man who's done so much for my boys, and especially my son's last year, and the program's getting ready to start. We don't have anybody, or we need uniforms. I'm on the wrestling board, and there's nobody to do this because he's not there. And I thought, well, and I didn't realize about this meeting. My neighbor told me about this meeting, or I would have had more parents and had my boys come, but my boy's really trying to go to state this year, and so he's at a club, and I know he would have been here. But I just wanted to put that out there, and I figured in person to say, I hate to lose him. He's a great teacher. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming and giving your feelings about this issue. And we can't discuss it with you, as I'm sure you understand, but it's a very brave thing to do. We appreciate it. Thank you. Next on the agenda, we have our consent agenda. And I'm going to have to pull 2 items, and we'll come back to them. One, they're right together, 10H and 10I. So other than that, a motion would be in order to approve the rest, A through G and J through EE.
Also move. I'll second.
Okay, properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. So now on 10H, we have a corrected date. It does say October 12th through June 30th. It should be changed to October 20. Wait a minute. The corrected date is October 12th, 2016 to June 30th, 2017. And then the I is corrected date is October 24th through June 30th, 2017. So the motion would be in order to approve H as corrected.
I'll move.
Second.
Okay, properly moved and second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Now we're on to the corrected one on item I.
Also move a corrected dates on that item.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, properly moved and seconded. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. And now that takes us to our action items, which is approval of a resolution for board compensation for Dr. Jeffrey Barkley, and that's a roll call. I bet I need a motion first.
I'll make approval. I'll second.
It's properly moved and seconded. All right, there's a roll call.
Mrs. Hill?
Aye.
Dr. Baki?
I'll abstain.
Mrs. Russell?
Aye.
Mrs. Cattouli?
Aye.
Mr. Boyer?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 4 with four for the motion and 1 abstention. We're on next to consideration and approval of administrative salary schedule for 2016-17 school year. Dr. Kropp.
As you know, we finished our negotiations with both employee associations last year, and we're finally to the administrators, and we've put forth before the board a set amount a little bit less than the 2% that all of their employees received for most of our administrators.
Okay, then a motion would be in order to approve that schedule.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. We're on next to consideration and approval of addendum to the superintendent's contract of employment, and she has agreed to accept that. And so I would move approval of that item. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, properly moved and seconded. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. On to acceptance of a bid award and approval of the contract with RJ Dom Construction Company, the lowest response and responsible bidder for the west parking lot expansion. Mrs. Meyer?
Yes, Madam President, as we discussed earlier in our workshop, this is our lowest responsible bidder that would provide for the resources to do the west parking lot expansion.
Okay. Motion is in order to approve that.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Okay, properly moved and seconded. We'll fight it out who got the second. Any discussion?
No, I think it's going to be a good project, so we got to
Yeah, yes, okay.
We'll get some extra parking and clean up an area of the high school that needs cleaning up.
Absolutely, yes. Okay. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Then acceptance of a bid and approval of contract with RJ Dom again, construction company, the lowest responsive and responsible bidder for the 800 building training room package unit modification project at Los Alamitos High School. Mrs. Meyer again.
Yes, again, this is our lowest bidder for revisions to what was the wood shop class. A lot of large machines need to be moved out, vacuum system removed, and flooring, walls, fire alarm system, et cetera, put back into place. And then adding air conditioning to the training room that our athletes use.
Okay.
Move acceptance.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. We're next, we usually do our classified and certificated personnel report together. Dr. Pulver, have any comments? Okay, motion would be in order to do those.
I'll move approval of the certificated and classified personnel reports as presented.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries 5-0. We're on to approval of warrants. How many pages?
63?
I'll move approval as presented.
Okay, there's a lot of warrants. All right, is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, any discussion?
I just want to thank staff for getting our questions answered.
For getting the what?
Our questions answered
Oh,
on the
yeah, we had a
warrants.
lot of questions on
Yeah, we
warrants.
have a lot of
certainly.
questions this time.
Okay. All right, so all in favor of the motion to approve warrants, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Acceptance of donations, and this is where we have to move slowly so we can look at all of our generous community and what they have contributed to our school. So a motion would be in order to accept these donations.
I'll move approval.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, properly moved and seconded, and thanks to all of our generous community members who have put forward these donations. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Then we're on to approval of agreement and stipulation to student expulsion waiver of hearing and appeal rights. Mrs. Cattouli?
It is moved that the agreement and stipulation to a student expulsion waiver of hearing and appeal rights for student A be approved for violation of the following education codes: 48900C, 48900H, and 48913C3 through the remainder of the 16-17 school year.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. We're next to approval of an agreement and stipulation to a suspended student expulsion waiver of hearing and appeal rights. Mrs. Cattouli again.
It is the agreement, it is moved that the agreement and stipulation to a suspended student expulsion waiver of hearing and appeal rights for student B be approved for violation of the following education codes: 48900B, 48913A2, and 48915C2 through the remainder of the 16-17 school year.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, properly moved and seconded. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. We're on next to our communication, and could I start with Mr. Boyer?
I'll just say, I attended the homecoming event that we had with Edison High School. Other than losing the football game, it was a wonderful event. I've never seen that many kids on our fields involved in the program, and between all the different programs. It was really amazing. I keep thinking, how can we get better? What we do every year. And the kids just are well behaved. This was a really fun evening, and I just want to thank Dr. Molenkamp and all the folks that got together on all fronts to make that happen, because it was neat to see and Tom Plunkett especially for coordinating to put everything together, and all those kids on the field at halftime was just amazing. And with that, I'm going to pass. I'm not feeling too well tonight.
Oh. Do you want me to? Okay. I did have my ROP meeting, and I realized that there's some things that I really don't share about ROP that not only will I feel my other board members will find interesting, hopefully the community will too. North Orange County ROP, it has an agreement with the Rio Contiguo Juvenile Detention Center, which is for incarcerated, I'm trying to be tactful so I get quiet. It's for incarcerated youth, and we have an agreement that our ROP, which is our Career Technical Ed group, a consortium, that goes in and offers several different classes for the students there. They're under 18, they're going to school while they're incarcerated to get their high school diploma or their GED. And we give them, not only do we give them experience in some different, culinary is really popular there. So they run like a little restaurant in there and do things like that. But one of the things that we really try to teach in our ROP classes is what we call the soft skills, which means how to shake hands, how to go through an interview, how do you pull up a resume, how do you create your own resume, how do you change it for what kind of a job you're applying for. And the students there usually become really enthusiastic about it because they had been in a situation where they have made poor choices, and they've been in a situation where they didn't feel they could make anything other than a poor choice. And this really gives the kids hope. And it's a great program, and I'm really very proud of the fact that we participate in that. And we also are the administrators of the Anaheim City Workability Grant that they get from the federal government. And this is with individuals 18 years and over who need more training or, again, coaching on soft skills and how to apply for a job, where you look for a job, how to develop your own personal skills. And we administer that and offer classes for that and help find jobs for these people. I think it works great both ways. Not only are we obviously helping, our society in a greater sense, but I think it also helps ROP to have a real good finger on the pulse of what is out there for people to look into for careers and what kind of pathways to create that really will have great paying jobs in the future. I also attended a county committee on redistricting. It was just an organizational committee. We didn't discuss any redistricting among all of the school districts in Orange County. I was a judge for the door decorations at Lee Elementary School, where they decorated the doors for Red Ribbon Week. I said that correctly. And it's always so hard to be a judge of something like that, but I thought it was fun and the kids were really excited. I also attended the choir show, and every time I go to a choir show, I said they can't get any better. But considering the choir show occurred about 7 weeks into the school year, yes, a lot of those kids are returning, but some of those kids, they were freshmen and they were performing and had them on the stage and up and down the aisles, and it was just phenomenal. I was able to attend our PTA council meeting. I like going to those because it gives me a chance to see what's happening at the school sites and how the parents are interacting with the school sites themselves, and if there are any issues or problems when they look at a bigger thing. I was also very honored to be able to attend the Orange County Teacher of the Year dinner, and where we honored Brett Lines, who is a math teacher at McCullough, and I have known Mr. Lines for several years. Very, very deserving of this honor, and it's a very joyful occasion, and particularly his wife and his 3 daughters came, so it was just really great having dinner with the whole family, and I think they enjoyed themselves, and we kept telling his daughters, do you know how important your dad is? Look at this honor your dad got, and they were like nodding, so I thought that was great. And I also had a chance to spend some time at the McGaw Carnival, and this is the one thing I do just because I am a grandmother. I was also able to attend the McGaw Halloween Parade, and I said this last year, and it's already past Halloween, so it's not a heads up for anyone. But if you want a joyful way to start your day, go to an elementary school and watch their Halloween parade. Minecraft is out, superheroes are in, and there was one little boy, he was probably a 4th grader, so he was a young man, was wandering around in a suit with a sign that said "Kale for President," and every time he went by the parents, all the parents cheered for him. So it was really great fun. And that is it.
Okay. Dr. Barkey.
Thank you. I shared with you guys earlier that my wife and I spent part of the day at the happiest place on earth, Disneyland, and we weren't there for the rides or the crowds or the food, although the food was pretty good, and I think it's better than it used to be. We were there as part of a leadership group, learning about how they create a culture and how they're able to reproduce an experience that we have when we go to Disneyland that's almost identical every time we go. Cleanliness, courtesy of the staff, respect, the way guests are treated, the way cast members act, etc. And there's a point to this in that we have an election coming up, and not unlike the characteristics of Disneyland employees, there's a certain leadership and chemistry and respect that we have on the board that I think works really well. Shared set of values, shared set of norms, a way in which we operate in the best interest of the kids. And for those of you who are watching, I don't know when you watch this, maybe it's going to be after the fact, but nonetheless I'm going to say it anyways. I think it's important that we keep this leadership together because it works for no other reason and because we excel. So we have some fantastic schools in our district, and we have a wonderful district that's envied by many in Orange County, not to mention the entire country. And I'd hate to see that chemistry, that dedication, that vision that we all have change. Change for change's sake is not a good reason. And when things are excelling and things are working, I think it's important to maintain that for the benefit of the community and the kids. Couple things I attended, Rossmore Homeowners Association. I was part of a group, Dr. Kropp, Mrs. Reed, and myself. We presented to them a little bit about our district and a lot about traffic and what we've done to mitigate traffic in Rossmore. Following that, a week or so later, I attended the Rossmore Homeowners Association Traffic Committee to kind of debrief the presentation and look at other ideas that Rossmore is working on to mitigate traffic. My general sense is that there's a pretty good consensus that the efforts that we've made, and they've been many, have worked, and things have gotten better. And our commitment to continue that process of improving traffic by watching our enrollment, et cetera, I think is important and resonates within the Rossmore community, not to mention the rest of the community. Because part of what we do is not just look out for our schools and our district, but it's also to look out for our communities that we represent and the individuals in our community, about 3/4 of which don't even have children in our district. So being good stewards of the community is part of what we do and part of what we've done well that works, and another reason why Mary and I are supporting the incumbents that are running for re-election this time, and I hope you will too. I also attended the Edison homecoming football game, and it was my first football game of the year, and one of the things I noticed, which I think is really cool, is we've moved the team to the home sidelines. And I think that's really nice. It's a nice change. It's allowing our new coach to create his own identity, and I think it's great for the fans as well, because then the fans are closer to the team. So it's a really nice change. I was surprised, pleasantly so, and it was great. It was a good show, great entertainment, great effort by the kids. I also attended, and I sort of get confused because I missed a school board meeting, so all these events sort of blend together. But I attended, I always forget, is it Taste of or Taste For?
Taste For.
Taste For. Taste For LaSalle, which is a great community event, supports the school district, supports a lot of kids, and is just a whole lot of fun for the adults in the community. We get to buy stuff, hang out, eat great food, enjoy some adult beverages, and just have a good time, which is part of the fun of living in the great community that we live in. I also, somewhere along the way, attended a LaSalle Chamber meeting at which Dr. Kropp presented. It's always nice to hear her present. Every time she does, I learn a little bit more, and it's great to see we have a superintendent who is not only a great superintendent, but also is a great community supporter. So she's as well known in the community almost as if she is, in the district, and that's really nice to see, and great for all of us. And then a Operations Steering Committee meeting, which was my first one, and I shared with the Operations Steering Committee meeting. It was a little bit sad for me because it was the first one where you go around and introduce yourself and you say, yep, my kid's at this school or that school. It's the first time I don't have a kid in the district. So now I'm kind of like in the same ballpark as you guys are. I don't currently have a kid in the district, and it's a different feeling, but it's really, you really have a different perspective, and a good perspective, having been through it, and now being able to kind of usher in others and oversee the district with the view of the experience that you've gained from watching your kids go through the district. Don't forget to vote, and with that, I pass.
Thank you. Mrs. Hill?
Thank you, Dr. Berkey. Couple of things that I also had an opportunity to judge at Lee for Red Ribbon Week. And I loved, one of the things that I really noticed about the doors is that it was, yes, say no to drugs, but it was also about having healthy lifestyles. What are we going to do to have healthy lifestyles? How are we going to eat healthy? How are we going to move more? What do we need to do to stay healthy? And so I really appreciated that focus as well. I also loved, as I was leaving campus, campus looks phenomenal, and as I was leaving campus, there is a big, beautiful graphic that says, "We are future Griffins." And it was just phenomenal, and to see all our future Griffins here tonight. I just think that that really creates a culture and a desire to want to keep moving and moving ahead. And Mrs. Gattuli and I were speaking a little bit earlier because her son a couple weeks ago, a past Griffin, was married, and she was talking about getting a chance to reconnect with the kids. And I went to a wedding of a past Griffin on Friday night as well, with 4 groomsmen that were his friends from high school. And some of you may be sitting out there and thinking, oh, my kids are never going to be in high school, they're never going to get married, and it's going to happen a lot faster than you know. And that they have those roots and that foundation to take with them, and that those things stick with them, and they have those shared memories, even though many of them gone many places and done lots of phenomenal things, but they have that shared, and that's it's really special. So I also had the opportunity to go to the Rotary meeting, and I always enjoy my opportunity to have lunch with Rotarians, and we had a student who is being honored, Cynthia, for her involvement with our child development program. Her teacher was there, her mother was there. She said her mother was her hero, and I thought that was really, really special. And so I was very pleased to be part of that. Also, I was the backup for Mr. Boyer, and I went to the operating steering committee. And one thing I will say is that I was on operating steering committee a couple of years ago, and just amazed at how it has grown, and really want to thank staff for really reaching out to a lot of different people in our community to get that input. And I think that it was really tremendous, and I got to meet a couple of really interesting people while doing that. I also wanted to, I said to Dr. Martinez before he left, I just wanted to say, if you want to kind of keep in touch with what's going on in the community, in the school, especially in the high school, follow them on Instagram. And I wasn't able to get to campus during homecoming. It was very busy for me. But being able to have them on Instagram and see what the postering looked like all over campus, and they're just doing a really phenomenal job of keeping people connected. And so if you haven't done that and you have an Instagram account, check it out. And then 2 other really quick things. I have a quote. My husband asked me on Friday afternoon as we were headed out of town for the wedding. He said, "What are the kids doing on the streets? Why is there no traffic? Why are kids not in school? Why are kids not in school?" And I said, "I'm pretty sure it's because it's professional development." And so we had a conversation about that. And to be able to have professional development and to have our teachers get so excited and so embrace it, and each school be able to come together that way, I just think is tremendous. And I'm very grateful that staff does such a phenomenal job in putting that together, and that my fellow board members also really support lifelong learning and professional development. And I have a quote. I have a daily calendar from the Dalai Lama, and the quote from the Dalai Lama it says, "A good teacher is someone who not only has more knowledge, but also who shows concern for the student's entire development." And I think that's something that we do very strongly here in La Salle, and it makes me very, very proud. And I'm going to piggyback on Dr. Barkey and say, vote on Tuesday. It's really important to vote on Tuesday, and I completely and utterly support the incumbents. I believe that we are a really balanced, well-functioning board, and I appreciate you all. Thank you very much, and get out and vote. Thank you.
Okay, I'm probably just going to reiterate some of the things that everybody else, so I don't belabor it, but thank you, Dr. Houghton, for mentioning me coming to the Personnel Commission. It was really my pleasure to come and see the workings. And, you know, we had a few items on there we ended up approving tonight. I think a job description that you all approved. And so we're moving along together as a team, and we appreciate all the Personnel Commission's work as well. I too attended the Seal Beach Chamber, and we're teasing Assemblyman Allen tonight because he took up most of her time. But anyway, she did a great job as usual, and it was a nice event. And I too went to the Taste for La Salle, and I can't believe how many people were there. It was just amazing. And it was a great event, and I enjoyed seeing people there I knew. And then I attended my SELPA meeting, which is our Special Education Board, which is a consortium of 6 school districts, and we approved our executive director's goals for the year. And I too went to the choir performance, the Broadway musical. I mean, I remember the first time I went to a choir performance at the high school. I'd just been to New York and I'd been to Broadway and saw a performance. I came back and I went to the Broadway show and I go, I didn't need to go to New York. This is better. And I swear, it really is. It is that good. If you've never had an opportunity to go, you need to go. And the Christmas program, I believe, is coming up December 6th through the 10th. So get your tickets. It sells out quickly. Then I went to the bank to sign the documentation so we can save all the money on the certificates of deposit, participation, excuse me, and our bonds. So we're saving taxpayers money, and we got the signatures all on there, and it's in the works, right? Okay. Yeah. And then after that, I went to the faculty forum at the high school. They had invited us to come and speak, and so I went and talked to them about various and sundry things. And I too went to the carnival at McGaw. Their silent auction was amazing, and it's just great community participation. And I think the kids always have a really good time as well as the parents. And Disney Teacher of the Year was a phenomenal thing. And Gary Lyons, that's his father, Brett. His father and I actually served on the Cal Stirs board together, so we always give hugs back and everything, and to remember when the triplets were born, the 3 daughters are triplets, and reminiscing about how his wife used to down the street from me. It's just, this is such a great community because so many people know each other, and so that is always a great event, and I would really appreciate all the hard work our teachers. They're all Teachers of the Year as far as I'm concerned. But, they choose to honor one from every district, and it is a great event. So I too want everybody to make sure they go vote and have a great week, and we'll see you next time. Everybody ready to go?
Yeah.
All right. We're adjourned.